Let's go ahead and talk about dissociative disorders as it pertains to experiencing severe trauma. It's important to understand that dissociation is a category of symptoms, and in the most simple sense, it means a detachment from reality. Now, with PTSD, this is one of the key features, and not everyone who has PTSD has dissociation, but folks who have dissociation most often are going to have PTSD. It's one of the more severe symptoms. Then we have dissociative disorders, and that's when those trauma symptoms become more pervasive and ongoing and really have a detriment to people's lives. Dissociation really spans a wide spectrum. It could be anything from forgetting certain aspects of your life all the way to having dissociative identity disorder, which was formerly known as multiple personalities. And dissociative identity disorder is one of the most well-known forms of dissociation because of how dramatic it can be and how much it's in pop culture, spanning from different TV shows and movies that are quite popular because it is so interesting and it deviates so much from the normal, average human experience. So in this series, we're going to do a deep dive into the three main dissociative disorders, including dissociative amnesia, depersonalization / derealization disorder, and finally, dissociative identity disorder. In this video, I'm going to do a pretty comprehensive breakdown talking about all the different types of dissociation and dissociative disorders so you understand what they are and how they impact folks with severe trauma. Essentially, dissociation is a detachment from reality, and it's not necessarily having a delusion, but it's often more of a feeling like I'm outside of my body, none of this feels real, or I can't remember certain things. Which brings us to the first disorder, dissociative amnesia, and probably most of you know what the word amnesia means, essentially forgetting things. With dissociative amnesia, the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual breaks down 4 different types of amnesia. Essentially, you have localized, generalized, systemized, and continuous. With dissociative amnesia, it's all about forgetting important life events. And when that amnesia is localized, essentially that means a specific place, just like getting a localized shot. Often when you have that localized amnesia, you're forgetting the specifics about the trauma itself as a protective mechanism. Now, when it comes to generalized amnesia, this is much more rare because you're essentially forgetting everything about yourself. Who am I? Where am I? It's something like you'd see out of a movie. Then you have systemized amnesia, which is forgetting entire categories, whether that be about family or a specific person. This is often related to the trauma itself as well. Another rare form is called continuous amnesia, where you're forgetting events as they occur. There's even a condition accompanying this known as dissociative fugue, and that's when you're searching purposefully, aimlessly, trying to find information that's lost from your memory. Next, you have depersonalization / derealization disorder. And the depersonalization part is all about your feelings towards yourself. You may feel numb, like you don't exist, like you aren't real, like you're outside of your body and observing yourself. Then you have derealization, which is a similar type of detachment, except it's with everything outside of you. Your environment doesn't seem real. Everything may seem dreamlike or foggy. Often people who have this disorder feel like they can't describe their symptoms. They feel like they're going crazy. It's really common for them to also feel like they're having irreversible brain damage. Now the one we've all been waiting for, dissociative identity disorder. When some people experience severe trauma, for whatever reason their mind fractures into different parts. These parts are different personalities that may act completely or partially independent of one another, and you have to have at least 2 to have a diagnosis. There's usually going to be an element of amnesia that comes with DID. For example, one part may have completely separate memories than the other. Again, that protective mechanism. When one part is out front, another part has no idea what the other one is doing, and this could often create a lot of problems in the individual's life, especially in their relationships. All right, folks, that brings us to the end, and I hope that you have a much better understanding of what dissociation is and how it impacts people with trauma. And if this is something you feel like you've experienced, I hope you go talk to a therapist who's a trauma specialist, because there are some really specific interventions that could help people who struggle with dissociation. And if you're interested in these topics around mental health and addiction, keep watching my videos. We'll see you next time.